Okay, so I took a break. Hopefully you all did too. And again, I don't know how YouTube's going to do this, so I'm probably going to break these videos up anyway. But what we did, so I went and got the requirements that I needed for this, and they're over here. So I'm going to show you how to pull those back. So now that we've got the beginning of our trace, right? So we can pull any of this data back. Okay, so but if you really look at it, you want to split it by, let's say like this is one profile. Break it up. There we go. Yeah, so there's many here, so we only care about getting the first one. So we'll do this so we can see it better. And then, well, we don't care about the first one. We care about the names, right? So the first thing we want to do, let's get following. Okay, now let's just do some real estate and let's make this capital. There we go. Okay, so what we want to do here is let's get our space correct. All right, and now inside of our attributes, what we want is data. Let's do this single quote, because that way if there's double quotes, that's fine. Or you can do double quotes, doesn't really matter. We want to name this one profile ID, because this is going to be the name of the column, not the actual value. Okay, so profile ID, and that's going to equal, perfect. Look at that, even threw it in there for me. So now we want to say if, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Perfect. So if this is enabled, right? If this exists and it's enabled, it's going to write it out. So what's next? Let's go ahead and say if, nope, not that one. If attributes dot get, wait, is there something wrong here? Oh. I guess I could do it this way, but the get is going to tell me that it exists. So in other words, is it there? So get, this one should be this and not that. Okay, because what that's doing, if it doesn't exist or if it's empty, then it won't throw an error message. Okay, so here, this is going to be events rules data list. That's this thing. Now what I like to do is I'm going to put these in, because this is going to be a flat view, right? So I'm going to put those into a one string, and I want them to be I got pinged, sorry. So we're going to call it a list. DL list equals attributes that plus the next one, which is that. I don't know how it reads my mind. So that's going to put that into a list, and that's going to say if type equals a list. Perfect. Well, no, if it equals a string. Okay, so what we're saying is if this type is a string, which these are strings, notice the strings, then we want to concatenate those strings. So we want to say data, because that's the name of our dictionary, data event rule ID list combined string. I don't know if I spelled that correctly, but we'll do that later. String equals dlist. Okay, so perfect. We've got an error. What do we have an error? Oh, because this is a dictionary, not a list. So let me do it this way. Not sure why I did that, but that's okay. Bring this down here. Okay, so key value, right? So my key is this, my value is that. But that's if it's one. So what we need to do is combine it. So else, which is probably like a list, we're going to say dlist combined string equals that plus join. Okay, so the first one's going to say it's just a string, so we're going to add it to here. The next one's going to say, oh, well, you know what? Now we need to join it by using a comma. Okay, so now we're going to say data this equal basically this right here. Perfect. Okay, so what that's going to do is read this in, and it's going to put it into a comma separated list for us. And then it's going to add that to the dictionary. Excuse me. Okay, no big deal. I was looking to see what those messages were. I'll probably cut that out of the video. Okay, so this is a pattern we can use with these other lists. Okay, so that works there. Because ironically, the next one is item. So let's go ahead and grab this whole little section right here, because we're going to do the same thing with it. And we're going to paste it there. And this is going to be item, which is this thing. Okay, and we've got to put all these into a list. So get item, and that's going to be item name. So we'll say item name equals, actually no, we don't need to do all this. I'm sorry. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so there we go. Item attribute equals item. So the first one's going to be name, right? So item name, you'll see in a few seconds. And then this is going to be name. So basically, we're not putting in a list. We're just kind of digging it in. So what this is saying is give me the item, then the name, then the description, then whatever at that point, right? So we need, okay, I'm only going to do 3 of these. I say that with a doubt because I'll probably have to add the other ones. But item description, and that's going to be description. Okay, just make sure I spelled that correctly, just be kicks and giggles. And then the next one we'll say is create time. Now I really don't know what this name lock is. I guess just locked. I guess I could get it. I don't know if that's imported or not, but same with version. But I'm just going to ignore those until they come back and tell me to do it again. So what we're going to do here, though, is now that we have this, we're going to stick this into our empty data frame. So if compiled frame dot empty, then we want to add 1. Okay. But let's see, pandas data frame data. We want to index it on 0. Okay, and then we want to reset the index. So what that's doing is that, well, why didn't that work? Oh, I'm sorry, because it has to be this way. Dot reset. We're missing something. So data frame data, comma, that closes that. Yeah, that should just reset the index at that point. It's just not coming up for some reason. Reset. Oh, because I don't know how to spell it. Okay, so what that's actually doing is resetting our index to 0. Okay, because I don't want indexing on this, but I do want to ignore ignore index, but I don't see the ignore index. Okay, equals true. Cool. And then I do not want to sort it. So sort equals false. And then we need to close that. There's some boo-boos massive here. So let me look at it now. So panda data frame data. Oh, you know what? I jumped ahead. I am so sorry. Let's copy this. I was thinking about once I concatenate it. And we're just going to comment that out because this is our first run. So the data frame data index is 0 and then reset index. The rest of the stuff won't exist yet. So let's go ahead and do that. And now what we need to say, if it's not empty, I need to combine it. So let's grab this. Excuse me. Just grab it here. Okay. And that's going to be equals pd.concatenate. That's why the other ones was kind of like, well, dude, what are you doing? And we want to concatenate this as this. Look at that. Let's see how much it got us here. So we want to concatenate whatever this is. We want to add a new one to it. We want to ignore index equals true, which is true. But we need to tell the data frame that we want to concatenate it with this data. Okay. And that index is 0 because we're not indexing it there. And then we want to reset index and then ignore. Let's go ahead and make our axis 0. Basically what this, and I'm looking right here if you want to know what I'm looking at. So what this is doing is this is telling us not to worry about indexing. Again, if you don't know what indexing is, then I'm sorry, you probably should figure that out. And I know that's very bad to say, but that's a huge conversation. If you want me to make a video on that, I can. But basically your indexing is just, your primary keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put them in, that kind of stuff. So, but we're not going to do that here. We're just going to kind of do the basics. Now, the other thing I want to do, let's go up here and let's log it. So we probably need to go back and do some cleanup on our logs. And I'm going to stop after this one and take a break. Probably eat lunch, and I'll probably do the other ones here shortly because there's just going to be a lot of copy and pasting besides Spectrum. Spectrum's a totally different beast. All right, so custom logging. And here we want to say write event profiles to CSV. Okay, so we're just going to write this out as CSV because that's one of the requirements that we're having. Full path, again, bad naming, but it works for this situation. Equals target path events close. So target path. I don't know, that may work. Okay, let's just see. And then I had a helper method because we're going to do this quite a lot. And again, that's why you do the helper methods, is to write the data frame out to a CSV file. So let's not worry about that right now, though. Let's just do this. Complete to CSV. Okay. And let's go ahead and add an encoding here because we want it to be forcefully a UTF-8. Right? Doesn't not like it. Oh well. TF8. And then, nope, not 9. 8. And let's put that in there. Okay. So let's try it. I'm not so sure about this path. I'm going to have to look at this real quick. Let's go here. Oh, I guess I should delete that real quick, shouldn't I? Oh, stop. Stop. Okay. Let's just delete this for now. Let it recreate it. And now let's see what happens. Okay, so you're ready. Let's go. So let's look at our console so we can see what's going on. Oh, dude, I got an error already. Okay, so the JSON says it's saved. Are we to a point where we can step over? Let's go up. All right, so I really don't know what happened, to be honest with you. At least that was created. So let's step into it again. So let's go here. That time I just jumped into it. Let's actually step into it. Okay, so I do have a breakpoint. Let's go. And that should return, once we're done, we'll return the data frame to here. So we're going to step over that, step over, step over, step over, step over. That's got our, so we know that worked up to there. We know it worked up to creating the JSON file. So let's go ahead and just dump it to here. Go. Now step in. Okay, so no errors yet. I probably should put that in a try case. Okay, I was trying to see if that was just an error. I was trying to, probably should have put that into a try catch by itself. Oh, I tried to jump in an extra error. Let's see, settings from file could not broadcast input array in the shape of 2. All right, so let's try it one more time. So go, and then feel like that pandas is airing out because it's turning pink, but I'm not completely sure. It is, so it's airing out right here. Okay, so data frame. Let's look at this real quick. What does my data look like? It looks okay. Let me stop. If it is empty, data frame 2. So I think that is right. Is there a problem with the data itself? So data profiles equals attribute ID if get enabled. Okay, so that's fine. Get DB list. So we're writing that out. This doesn't look right. I probably misspelled like crazy. That's probably our problem. So event rule ID list, event rule ID list. So that was copy and paste. Oh, this needs to be here. I'm sorry. Bam. Okay, so let's try it again. That might have fixed it. I don't know what's going on with this JSON file. Maybe I should delete it every time. In other words, I don't know if it's overriding it or if it's merging it. I seriously doubt it's merging it. But I don't really care. Let's see if that fixed our problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump. And let's go ahead and jump. And let's step over. Okay, cool. So that time it looked like it might have worked. And that actually created. So if you want to see what a data frame looks like, it looks like this. So remember I said it looks like just basically a flat table. And that's what it basically is what it is. All right, so what I'm going to do though now is just jump down to the bottom. And I think we might have got another error. It's not callable. Okay, so let's see what's going on there. So here we want to say if, because I aired out the second time, if data frame is empty, pandas.dataframe, and we'll take a break after this because I'm getting hungry. Data index 0, reset index, else data frame equals pandas, concatenate, complete data frame. So in other words, add this to it. Oh, this is supposed to be pandas. pd.data frame. Okay, so we need to create a new data frame here. pd. Why didn't you? Data frame. Why aren't you doing that for me? It should be this. Okay, so PD data frame. Data. It doesn't like that though. Oh, index equals 0, not equals 0. Okay. And then get rid of one of those. Reset index. Okay, so that might work. Oh, it's got to be an array like this, just like that one above it. Okay, like that. Okay, cool. Ay, 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 caramba. So much. All right, so let's try this. Okay. Ugh, I didn't delete that file, but I think I still can because we've got a breakpoint right there at the beginning. So let's go ahead and delete it. And now let's jump in. Okay, and I'm going to jump down to here. I'm going to step into that. There's an error again. Let's step out. No, it didn't. Okay, cool. So now if I jump in again, and this time it's not empty, so it should jump down to the next one, which is here. And if I jump out of it, okay, no errors. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump through to the end. Let's get rid of this breakpoint, get rid of that breakpoint, and I want it to jump down to here with no errors. No errors. How cool is that? What is our target path? Data. Okay, so the target path. Oh, I know what we should have done, but that's okay. We should force it to look at the local because that doesn't mean that this is always going to be there. Okay, but that's okay. It should work for now. And let's just see if it writes out full path. So I expect it up here with the JSON file, and it won't write it until it's ran through its course. let's go ahead and stop. And there we go. How cool is that? That's our JSON, that's our CSV file, and that's our JSON file. Now, how many rows? Yeah, okay, so I did 1, 2, oops. I think I just screwed that up. Control Z. Let's close it. Let's go look at it with something that's actually viewable. So we'll say open in Finder. Data. Numbers is fine. Let's just open up in numbers. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So we have these with comma separated. Here's a space number, who cares? This is written out correctly. Our CPU monitor, our item description, item created, time, that's not right. I'll have to look at that. Like, that's all the way across. Why? That's okay. We'll look at that, but that one's jacked up. And then, not sure what that is for. So we need a little bit of cleaning up. I may stop and just do some refactoring without being on this, because really it's just cleaning up what's here, right? Unless our JSON's really just that jacked up. It's possible. Item created date, though, should be this created time. So, because that's written there. And then these two shouldn't be out there by themselves. Technically, that one should be over here. That one should be over there. I don't know. Anyway, I'll walk through it later and see what the issue is, but we look like we're pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I'm going to need some lunch, and then we'll come back. I'll probably just take a quick glance at this just to refactor it. And what I mean by that is just see if I see any boo-boos, and then we'll move on to the next ones. All right. Thank you.